Hi everybody, my name's Andy and welcome to my new YouTube channel, the Opinionated Reefer. The main aim of this channel is to walk you through the setup and progression of my new SPS dominated nano tank. Although, as you've probably already figured out based on the tank behind me, this ain't my first rodeo. I've been into the hobby for around 5 years now. Like most people, I came from the freshwater fish keeping hobby. So I think the best thing to do right now is to maybe give you a little breakdown of the various tanks I've had over the years, and that will explain how I got to this point where I'm at now. In case you're wondering, this is a Red Sea Reefer 350 SPS Dominant.
So this was my first venture into saltwater reef tanks. As you can see, it was a super simple setup. Basically it's a Danner Lee 35 litre Scapers tank, I think that's how you pronounce it. Super simple, couple of kilos of live rock, a Danner Lee reef light, which was basically a compact T5, simple hang in the back skimmer, not even a skimmer, just a hang in the back filter as cheap as you could get, and a little pump for additional flow, and that was it. And I mean, just look at the coralline algae on that. That red stuff isn't cyano, that's actual a red coralline algae. So super healthy little tank. I mean, I don't think you could ask better than this for your first ever marine tank. I mean, the whole thing must have cost me less than a couple of £100. And look at that simple, cheap Chinese hang in the back filter with some filter floss in it. A live rock I got back then was when you could still get traditional live rock, so this would have been about 2016, 2017. Tank's about a year old at this point. I then upgraded to a Red Sea Max Nano, which is this tank. I basically just pulled over everything straight from the Danner Lee 35 litre tank into the Max Nano. There's my Duncan, still got that yet today. Basically the same live rock, pulled out the other tank and added this Acro ceramic tower. This is the tank about 1 year later. As you can see, it really grew in. Again, lots of coralline indicating a really healthy tank. This was using the standard equipment that came with the Max Nano, the AI Prime. So as you can see, the Duncans really grew. The candy canes have really grew. Everything just looking super healthy. Review from the other side of the tank. Yep, that torch, that hammer, still got to this day. Same with that hammer there. So while that was going on, I decided to convert my dual Rio 450 freshwater tank into a marine tank, and that's what this is. As you can see, it's still using like a canister filter and an in-tank skimmer. Again, really healthy, just proves what you can do with a canister filter. T5 lighting, the same it's the same Kenya tree. This is when my first venture into SPS corals. Tank, that's about a year old at that point. Then round about January 2020, I decided that I needed a tank with a sump, so I got the chance of this Red Sea Reefer 350. So again, a straight swap, everything from the dual Rio into the 450 insta cycle. By this point, this is about a year old by this point. As you can see, loads of SPS really started to grow in, but there's quite a few easier SPS in there, Monteporos, etc. So I had a little clear out, and that's when you get to this point here, which is where I'm at just now. Heavily Acropora dominant, but as you can see, I've been having a few problems with this red planet colony. Started to STN. It's got worse since this video was filmed. That used to be another red planet colony which has completely died. I believe it's caused by Acropora eating flatworms, which we've got in the tank. As you can see, the big green slimer colony is dying off at the base. This again has got worse since this video was taken. Really don't know what's causing this. Don't know if it's worms or something else. I've been treating for the worms, so I've not seen one in a couple of months, but they're definitely still in there. I think there may be other issues afoot, so I'll have to get an ICP test ASAP, or I could be looking at a lot of losses here as far as Acro is concerned. So you can just see I'm about to zoom in on some STN in this Acro colony. That again has got worse since this video was taken. Really depressing when you have to watch this sort of thing happen. I'm also suffering from a bit of dinos, if you can see that on some of the frag plugs there. So this is kind of where I'm at, and one of the reasons I've started the new nano tank, because I'm not sure if this is going to be a battle I can win. So this is the new nano, just freshly set up at this point. Same aqua roach structure I had before, but I used the rest of it that I had lying about in this. Added 2 kilos of genuine live rock from Radical Reefs. Wasn't too impressed with it. It had no living hitchhikers as far as I can tell. I think it's what you call uncured live rock, but as long as it's got the bacteria in it that will seed the tank, well, I'm happy with that. This is what it's currently like about 1 week later. As you can see, the diatom bloom has really started to kick in here. The live rock started to grow some green algae. Hopefully that doesn't spread throughout the rest of the tank. But again, seeding the tank with life, can't complain. So next step will be to add cleanup crew and maybe a pair of clowns. I mean, it's reading pretty clear just now, so yep, that's where I'm at with the new tank. So I'll just give you a quick rundown of what's in the sump. So most of this is equipment I already had lying about. So simple setup, it's not just a standard filter sock, a Bubble Magnus Curve 5 skimmer. Just recently switched that on. A standard cheapo 2-channel Jacod dozer, won't need that for a while, so it's not even hooked up. A DD dual heater controller, couple of power heads. One of them's a Jacod SW2, I believe. So that's pretty much it. So the lighting I'm using on this setup is a ATI power module hybrid, 6 times 24 watt T5 and 175 watt LED. It's an absolutely amazing light, probably one of the best lights on the market. I always chuckle when you see these going up for sale and nobody ever buys them. in favour of something like an AI Hydra or a Radion. I mean, there is absolutely no contest as far as coral growth is concerned between these sort of lights and an ATI hybrid. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and give me a like and a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I shall cover more in depth about dosing and the various other aspects involved in actually maintaining SPS. Obviously I never really got into much detail with that here, but again, just a wee introductory video. I know it's not very good quality and I'm not really very confident behind the camera yet, but as I said, hope you enjoyed it. Cheers, see you in the next video.